Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Football channel. Today, Stoke City review and preview, as we usually do. But I'm going to let Ethan go into specifically what we're going to be talking about today.
Right, in the Stoke review / preview, we are going to be reviewing the Stoke game against Coventry City, which we lost 2-3. Well, 3-2, but
Yeah.
we were at home. Then after that, we're going to go on player ratings for that game. Then the preview of Nottingham Forest versus Stoke. Then we're going to have a look at the last 4 games for both teams. Then our preferred lineups, score prediction, and the debate question this week is who's the better left back, Digne or Tierney?
Yeah, so should be, a decent one for you guys. Not parts of it not great for us because we've got to talk about. But as Ethan just mentioned there, Stoke obviously did take on Coventry Wednesday night, 7:00 kickoff, and Stoke suffered another disappointing defeat, getting a 3-2 loss. So just before we go into the player ratings, just very briefly, Ethan, what did you think of that one?
Well, I didn't think we deserved to lose. Going to be honest with you, it could have gone either way. We could have won the game because, attackingly we were brilliant. Attackingly, but defensively we were shit. We were dreadful defensively, I think. And yeah, of course, Connor Taylor getting his debut after James Chester came off injured. And I thought the lineup, because we went as a 3-4-3, 3-4-1-2. Going 3 at the back against bloody Coventry City's poor, I think. But anyway, what do you think anyway?
Defensively, it's that bad. It's an absolute disgrace. Their first 2 goals are a joke to concede. Both of them joke. The first one, what are you doing, Angus Gunn? Joke. Defensively, joke. Where's the man marking there? Letting him loose there, and then what's Gunn doing there? What useless attempt to try and put him off. Second one, a joke. Why are you letting a man loose at the back post to just easily tap it in? What are you doing? What are you doing? I said this before. It's not hard for defenders to mark the men. I don't understand why they're finding this so hard. It's a really easy concept, to be fair with you, for a professional footballer. And then the two goals that we scored were good, but did we deserve? We deserved the points. I don't think we ever could have deserved to win that game because we were that bad defensively. But personally, I think that the referee was an absolute disgrace. I really do. I think he was a joke of a ref.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't think he, based off that, doesn't even deserve to referee in this league. What an absolute joke of a referee. Whoever you are, please don't referee a Stoke game again because you are a joke at your job. You're pathetic. Seriously. Letting them time waste on multiple occasions without even giving a warning, giving every single time one of their players went down and it was blatant dives, just a time waste. He gave everything to him. Honestly, just do me a favour, mate. Oh, and Coventry as well. Obviously, they won that game to confirm that they will be staying up. Well, I tell you what, some teams, they stay up through heroic play or, grinding till the end. Coventry City, congratulations, you stayed up, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what you think about I don't know what your fans will think about Coventry staying up through just blatant time wasting. I mean, I've seen time wasting and that's just taking the mick. That's not time wasting, that is just taking the mick, that is. How much time they were trying to waste near the end. It's actually pathetic, honestly. If if you need to rely on time wasting that bad just to get a result, then I tell you what, honestly, congratulations, Coventry. You won through time wasting and through no quality whatsoever. So enjoy that one. I'm sorry, fair play to the fans and that and the club and whatever, but that game, you won through cheating. I don't know what, the amount of time wasting you did. I mean, well done. Well done. Great quality shown there. Not at all. Right, so that is my opinion. Salty, maybe. But we'll move on to player ratings and what your player ratings are for this one.
Alright, we'll start with Angus Gunn. I'm going to give him slap bang in the middle 5. I think out of the 2 keepers we have in the squad, except from Blondie, who never plays, I think Adam Davies is like miles better than Angus Gunn. Recently, like he drops the ball. He had an early blunder that almost saw us go behind in the early stages.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so lucky not to concede because the player who shot just smacked it straight at him on his back. So I think I'm going to give him slap bang in the middle 5. But I think that's really, really generous. James Chester, you can't really rate him because he went off 17 minutes in. Danny Bart, I'll give him a 4. He was dragged out of position for the Walker goal. Just poor decision making, and I think, like we've always said, he relies on whacking it up too much, and he's not comfortable on the ball whatsoever. So I'm giving him a 4. Reece Norrington Davies, being a left-footed left back, you always need that left-footed player. But I think we had like Clucas, Thompson. We had a lot of left-footed players in the team. But anyway, I think in his position, I think he suits as a wing back, not a left mid, because apparently he was classed as a left mid in a 5, in like a wing back in a 5 back or left back. But he's not a midfielder, no way. I'm going to give him a 6 though. Tommy Smith, probably one of the best performances he's had at Stoke in the first half. He had a ball whipped in a ball. I don't know how everyone missed. I don't get that. And he set up Clucas's equaliser as well. I'm going to give him an 8. He was brilliant. Smith was. Nick Powell anyway. I'll give him a 5. He didn't get into the game to be honest with you. But he looked better in the second half when he moved to like a number 10 position with Clucas and Mikel and Holding behind when Mikel come on. I'll give him a 6 though. Thompson, we've always said it. He's bang average, honestly. He is bang average. I don't think he should be playing for Stoke, to be honest with you. Yes, he's a good, fill bench player, but not to start for me yet. Not to start. I'm going to give him a 5. Clucas actually started. I think he struggled to get on the ball and dictate the play, or even link up with Timon. Who I think Timon, shit. He's. I just don't like him playing. But he was much better in the second half, and the volley was superb. The volley was, and because of that finish, I'm giving him a 7. He was That finish was sublime, honestly. Moving on to Josh Tynan. I'm giving him a 4. I just don't like Josh Tynan playing. I think he's too... I know why he comes back, because he's naturally a left back, apparently. But even though he's playing like forward, he gets back and doesn't. He can't be asked get up, and it's like he didn't really have much. He didn't have much joy down the left side. But I think Smith showed him why he needs to get his finger out of his arse and actually start performing, because Smith played absolutely superb, like I said. So I'm giving him a 4 to Tynham. Christian Norton, I think he was better out of the 2 strikers with Jacob Brown. He had some neat touches. Honestly, seeing him, Christian Norton, Therese Campbell together, imagine that. Like that, we could be seeing a good season next season for Stoke with them two. So I'm going to give Norton a 6 since he came off at half time, which I didn't think was right, to be honest with you. I think he should have brought Jacob Brown, even though Jacob Brown scored. I think he should have brought Jacob Brown off. Anyway, moving on to Jacob Brown. He was just anonymous in the first half. Didn't seem to get anything, not threatening. But then, after being 1-0 behind, he comes up with an absolute scorcher to bring us back level, which was a really good finish. And since he did score, I'll give him a 6. Moving on to the substitutes, Connor Taylor replaced Chester. Could have had a dream debut goal. It would have been a really good header, but Ben Morrison arguably could have been the man of the match for Coventry. He was really, really solid as a keeper. But even though he could have had a debut goal, he was arguably pulled out of position for the goal by O'Hare, but that's just being a young defender. You know, experience in that matter would have could have avoided that, but hey, you learn. If you play, you learn. You learn from mistakes. I'm going to give him a 6, though. He was good. It was a decent debut, but yeah, I'll give him a 6. Johnny Bukel. I think this is why John Obi Mikel should be starting instead of Thompson. Because he added so much more security in midfield than Thompson. And just because of that, I think John Obi Mikel deserves a 6. Didn't add too much like rhythm going forward, but he just secured like the holding midfield spot. So I'm going to give him a 6. Then last but not wait, I'm gone.
Yeah, you got a few more yet.
I've got a few more. Stephen Fletcher for Norton in the 45th minute. I disagree. Bringing Norton off, I think he was way better than Brown. But Stephen Fletcher is like way different to Norton and Brown, and he can hold up the ball, and he did it superbly. And he actually looked dead dangerous in the air, and offered like different dimensions in his aerial ability. So, but he did come on like in the 45th minute, so I'm going to give him a 6, and since he didn't score, I'll give him a 6. So last two, Sam Vokes coming on for Clucas. See, with this, I think having Stephen Fletcher and Sam Vokes up front, it's just two players who hold up the ball. It's not what you want. You want you want a striker who's quick and agile, to be up top with Fletcher, and bringing him on in the 81st minute when we're losing is like, what's the point? I don't get why he brings on Sam Vokes. I actually don't. It is ridiculous. And then I'm going to give Sam Vokes a 5 because he didn't have much time to actually do anything because he only had nearly 10 minutes. So last but not least, Rabiu Tondo coming on for Jacob Brown. Again, why are you taking off a striker for midfielder? I don't know. But I'll give Rabi Matondo a 5 since he didn't play that much and yet again came on with Sam Vokes. So I'll give him a 5.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Michael O'Neill needs to stop playing with this shit 5 at the back / 3 at the back and go with a 4-3-3.
Well, I would have thought that, but then there's 5 of them at the back and they're still leaking goals.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You think, well, if you
may as well play 6 or 7.
Right, well, I'll go straight into mine then. Angus Gordon made one standout save, I remember, inside the box with this save. But to be honest, first goal was at full. I saw loads of people slating him on Twitter, saying, please, why do we have to have him on loan for another season? What is the point? And let's just be perfectly honest, he's miles behind Bursic and Davies, if we're being completely honest. Not quite good enough, really. Expected more, dropping the ball, letting the ball go out of his hands a couple of times, free. Norrington Davies, he was decent. I'd say he had a decent game, but I mean, I think it's a shame when he's getting put in a defensive free because of him being pushed further back. It means he can't show all of his attacking threats that he also has. But I'll give him a 6. He was all right. Chester, to be fair, he didn't play for very long until he had to come off. It was 17 or so minutes in that he came off injured. So I almost feel a bit harsh giving him a proper rating. For the minutes he played, it's all right, but I'm just going to give him a 5, really. He didn't play
that's fair enough.
very long. So Danny Butt, it's not the worst performance I've seen him give. He has been worse at times this season than what he was against Coventry, but Luke, he still gave away a ball a couple of times, or just hoofing the ball up needlessly. Luke, he's not a good defender, is he? It's blatantly obvious. We've already established that. So 3. Moving on to Tommy Smith, thought he had a really good game, really productive on the right hand side, and since he's had to come in for Collins, when he first came in for Collins, you were a bit worried because Collins had been doing a good job there, and Smith hadn't seemed that impressive, but he seems to have picked up the sort of player that he was when he was playing for Huddersfield, and he got player of the season or something crazy like that. So seemed really solid, quite productive. Give him a 7. Timon on the left, thought he improved in this game. To be honest, actually, I thought he got a couple of decent-ish crosses into the box. I actually, to be honest, thought it was, like I say, an improvement in this game to the last one, and I thought he was all right. To be honest, still not. You'd rather have something else on the left, but I think he looked better, and I thought he was all right on the left hand side overall. So I'll give him a 6. Kalukas, really solid performance in midfield. Brilliant finish. It was just a brilliant, well taken goal from him, to be fair. So fair play to him for that. And solid performance from a solid midfielder. You know, Clucas is usually a midfielder that you can rely on to have at least a decent performance each time. So, yeah, I'll give him a 7. Well, no, because of the finish as well, I'll give him an 8. Thompson, you know, he's not good enough, is he? I don't even get it. It's like his best performance he can give is average for this division, and it's either average or it's just poor. I just can't be bothered with it. Like, I'm fed up of seeing him playing now. Again, just another at best average performance, and that just isn't good enough for Powell. Couldn't really get into the game as much, like he was saying. I did like that in the last 20 or so minutes of the game that he did seem like he did care about the game, and he was trying to be a bit more passionate going forward. That was good to see, because it was only a couple of weeks ago I was saying he seemed a bit lethargic and stuff, so it's nice to see him like trying to help with the push to get an equaliser and, you know, keep going forward. So
yeah,
I'll give him a 6, because I can't give him too high, because he just wasn't as effective as you'd like him to be.
no.
Norton, I thought he was decent, but I did think he was silenced a bit more in this game than previous ones he's been involved in. Still though, I don't agree at all with subbing him off at half time.
No.
The first thing I said, which is what you just said, is that I think that should have been Brown instead. And again, I think this is just blatant, like favouring the player, favouring whichever player is a few years older.
Yeah,
It's just this age. Not to say like he's been unfair on Norton, but it's just like this ageism that some managers seem to have. It's just like, oh well, he's quite young, so if I'm gonna have to bring one or the other off, even though he's been better, he's like 19 or whatever, so he can come off. I just don't get that. But I'll give him a 6. He only had one off. So Brown, I thought he was relatively quiet throughout the whole game. Pretty much useless up top, except from one split-second moment where he's put his foot through it and scored a brilliant finish, a brilliant goal from outside the box. So
yeah,
I'll give him a 6. You have to give him something over a 5 because he scored and because of the finish that it is. But other than that, he was ineffective, really. So I'll give him a 6. Going on to the subs, Connor Taylor, like you said, really unlucky not to score in his debut. Brilliant, a brilliant effort with the header. But yeah, an unbelievable save. But I thought he was all right. Didn't look too shaky considering it's his first, proper debut for Stoke, and he's obviously quite young. But I'd say he did all right, but we've still ended up leaking goals, so I can't really give him too much. But I think he was decent, really. I'll give him a 6 overall. But yeah, moving on. Norton off at half time to Stephen Fletcher. Once again, Michael O'Neill potentially knocking a player's confidence with once again subbing them off at half time, like he did with Clark. And I think he did it with Brown as well in a different game. I don't know why he keeps doing that. That's not going to help. I think, like I say, it should have been Brown coming off, but Fletcher, as we knew anyway, he should have scored anyway. He had a couple of good efforts, just unbelievable saves again. I can remember one in particular, a really good header that he had of not long left. I think it was in like the final 8 or so minutes, and it's just a brilliant save. But I'd say he had a decent performance, Fletcher. To be fair, I'll give him a 7 because he did well, and against any other team in the Championship, he would have scored at least one. It's just that keeper was unbelievable last night. Yeah. So Jordan Thompson off for John Obi Mikel. I agree with taking Thompson off, so that's fair enough. Mikel did make the midfield look stronger, but I was really disappointed with McCall last night, to be honest, because he just started frustrating me. I mean, it's the fact that one, he gave this most like dead sloppy back pass. I think it was to Danny Bat, and it was such a bad attempt at a pass. He actually gave away the ball just outside the box, and luckily, Coventry didn't capitalise on it, and they ended up having just a shot outside of the box, and it went straight into Gunn's hands. But you can't be giving the ball away outside the box like that. And then also as well, what's frustrating me is, it's like last 5, 6, 7 minutes, we're losing. And still, even though we're losing, he's getting the ball. And every time he's getting the ball, he's turning and passing it to the defenders. I mean, we're losing, for God's sake. With 5, 6, 7 minutes to go. Yeah, exactly. And you still want to pass it back because you haven't got enough bottle to run through the midfield or pass it forward. This isn't good enough. Free. Not good enough. Sam Klukas off for Vokes. It just gets more and more annoying each time. But then, who's the other striker? Who's the other... What other strikers on the bench? No one. So in that sense, I can get it, but yeah, it's just frustrating. Sam Vokes poor, to be honest. He got the ball a few times, and I can remember one he ended up giving away because his touch was poor. A couple of others where he tried to pass the ball and it should have been a simple pass, and he still managed to mess it up. He's just a really bad player. What is the point? Then moving on to the final one, Jacob Brown off for Rabbi Matondo. Let me just say, I can't wait for this player to leave this club because he is a joke of a winger. I mean, he came on. I think he didn't have a lot of the ball, understandably, but he took on the same defender 3 times. I remember it 3 times. He had 3 goes, and every single time he got tackled. So what's the point? What's the point, mate?
He's just predictable.
You take players on, right? That's meant to be a good thing. It ain't a good thing if when you take them on, they tackle you every time, mate. I mean, you're a winger, and you can't get past your fullback ever. It's not good enough. A couple of step overs, and he thinks it's enough. It's just silly.
I swear he hasn't even got past the defender yet.
No, he hasn't. Not in Stoke colours. So too, I'm just go back to Schalke and hopefully you can do something in the Bundesliga too. But I don't know about that.
Well, they've got relegated, haven't they?
That's why I say Bundesliga too. Yeah. Hopefully you can do something in the Bundesliga too. So, moving on then. So, moving on to Stoke's next game, which is away against Nottingham Forest. It's going to be a tough game. I don't know if you look. We've got 3 games left. I don't know how many Stoke fans have actually got hope that we'll get some wins out of them after seeing what we have been seeing over the last few weeks. Just looks like everything's going down the drain. But we'll look at the last 4 games for both teams. Starting off with Nottingham Forest. They got a 3-1 win at home against QPR. They then went away to Bristol City and got a 0-0 draw. They then were at home against Huddersfield and lost 2-0. And then they went away to Birmingham and got a 1-1 draw. So in their last 4 games, they've got 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws. So not the best form, but if you're a Nottingham Forest fan,
so much.
Exactly. I'm just about to say, if you're a Nottingham Forest fan, you're not in the best form right now. Don't worry though, you've got Stoke, so undoubtedly that'll probably be some 3 points for you there to cheer you up. So you're welcome that you're playing us now, because we are absolutely dreadful. Right, going on to Stoke's last 4 games, a disgrace of a 4 games, by the way. Stoke at home against Millwall, lost 2-1. Stoke away against Birmingham, lost 2-0. Stoke at home against Preston, 0-0 draw. Stoke at home against Coventry, 3-2 to Coventry. So in Stoke's last 4 games, Stoke have lost 3 and drawn 1. Disgrace. So all Stoke players, hang your heads in shame. Looking at that, three losses in a draw. Get out, will you? Sick of it. But yeah, they're the last 4 games for both teams. Nottingham Forest, not a very good last 4 games, but still better than ours because that's how bad we've ended up being now. But looking at that, what would your preferred lineup be for that game?
So I'm just going to say it straight. In goal, Davies, definitely. Then left back, Norrington Davies, so he can actually attack more. Then centre backs, Suter and Chester, if he's fit. But if not, I'd say get Connor Taylor in again.
Yeah.
Then right back, Smith. Then we'll have a midfielder 3 in Sam Clucas, McCall and Powell. Then left wing, we'll go Norton. Then up top, we'll go with Fletcher. Then right wing, we'll go with Jacob Brown.
All right, then my team would be in goal, I'd have Davies. Then left back, I'd have Norrington Davies. Right back, Tommy Smith. 2 centre backs of Suter and Connor Taylor, because I'm just going to take it on the assumption that Chester will be out. I'll go with Connor Taylor. I have a midfield 3 of 4-3-3, obviously, same as Ethan. I have a midfield 3 of Clucas, McCall and Powell. My front 3 would be Timon on the left, Norton on the right, and Fletcher up top. So after saying all of that then, your score prediction for the Nottingham Forest game?
I think we're going to lose 1-0.
All right then, I think we're going to lose 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. So then, moving on to the debate question to finish it off. Who is the better left-back, Digne or Tierney? So obviously Tierney's actually had a really good season in the Premier League. But in your opinion, who was better?
Well, obviously they are both great left backs. But I think in terms of like performance and being like reliable and everything, and at his like peak age at the moment, I think Lucas Digne gets it for me, for Everton.
So you go with Digne?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I'm a massive fan of Digne, but I'm looking at this season, and based on this season, I think Tierney is the better left back. Just because I'll just say these 3 things which highlight the difference. So Lucas Digne's got 5 clean sheets this season. Tierney's got 6. Lucas Digne has got 34 goals conceded this season, whereas Tierney's only got 25. And the final thing for me as well is that Digne's tackle success percentage is 60% and Tierney's is 63%. So Tierney's is a higher percent, but Tierney's only had half the amount of tackle attempts that Digne has, and he's still got a higher success rate. So I think that says a lot. He's got more clearances. Admittedly, he has got less duels won, but he's got more successful 50-50s, and he's got more successful aerials won. So for Digne, defensively, nearly beats him on everything, really. The only thing I will say, in fairness to Digne, is that his attacking stats in terms of assists, they're not loads, but they are slightly better than Tierney, so he can have that. And his discipline is slightly better in the sense that he's got yellow cards. Although saying that, Digne has picked up one red card this season, and Tierney hasn't got a single one. So, but yeah, for me, ultimately the left backs. So the main thing should be the defensive work, and just like I said, mentioning those stats, Tierney beats him in nearly every single one off this season, and they're the official stats from the Premier League as well. So for me, just based off this season, I'd have to go with Tierney, but I do think that Digne is a class left back. But yeah, Tierney's just on the rise, and considering he's doing this in a poor Arsenal team as well, that makes it a little bit more impressive. But so you're going with Digne, I went with Tierney. If you're listening, put in the comments which one you think. But that is everything for today's podcast. So we hope you enjoyed listening to it, because we certainly enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy listening to it, then please like and subscribe. If you've got any thoughts, suggestions, ideas, opinions, tips, whatever, then put it in the comment section below. Thank you for all the support we're getting recently. And I'll pass it on to Ethan to see if there's anything he wants to add before we go.
Yeah, so obviously we are nearly on 200 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, subscribe, it's free. And what is our next video, Warren, do you know?
Our next video is going to be, it's going to be done tomorrow night, and it's for the Premier League show, because a load of midweek games happened.
I'm pretty sure Has should be coming on for the Premier League show, so look forward to that, seeing him again. And that's all from me. All
right then, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
In a bit.